This is not the first green letter day that the BMF has organised in the industry's diary. Some of you will remember actually nearly 4 years ago we organised a sustainability conference just up the road here at the Motorcycle Museum. And I remember very vividly that day my colleague Jim Copeland, who runs the Irish equivalent of the Builders Merchants Federation, came over as our guest because we wanted some feedback from our colleagues in Ireland, where they were a little bit ahead of the game on sustainability and green legislation. The biggest thing that was concerning builders merchants in the Irish Republic 4 years ago was the ban on plastic carrier bags. So in a very short space of time, both the economy and the green agenda have moved on very significantly, and your trade association has been working to anticipate those movements and to try and make the most of them. Brett's batting average, our policy manager, Brett Amphlett, his batting average with MPs is 1.25 a month over the last 12 months. And I know a lot of people, Terry mentioned lobbying in the EU, a lot of people are very suspicious of the word lobbying. And I think rightly so. Some years ago the BMF engaged a lobbying organisation who arranged drinks parties with MPs in the House of Commons. It did absolutely nothing to advance the cause of builders merchanting in the minds of the government. Actually taking local employers, bringing MPs in to see constituents and understanding some of the fundamentals of what's happening in the business, that does make a difference. And it's starting to make a difference that's being seen in all kinds of ways in the way in which we're putting the messages across. Some of you have still got these on the back of your trucks, bless you. If you want some more, we've still got some. Into its third year now. Currently at the Liberal Democrat Conference with our friends from the Federation of Master Builders and the Home Builders Federation. It'll be at Labour in the coming weekend. It'll be at the Tories the weekend after. You've got 3 copies of this new brochure in your packs, ladies and gents. One to keep, one to pass on, and one, please, if you don't mind, to send to your local MP with a little letter saying, please, can you have a look at this? Do you understand the construction industry is actually capable of delivering what you insist you want, which is jobs and growth? And by the way, it can do it from UK resources and keep a lot of cash in the country. Pretty fundamental messages. And I must say, I'm personally pleased, this is an ongoing theme, the extent to which the BMF is acting as Builders Merchants Act, as a facilitator in the whole marketplace, upstream with the suppliers, downstream increasingly with the home builders and the small builders, especially in matters of the Green Deal. And I'm not going to preempt anything that's going to be spoken about today, but the BMF's attitude is, if you expect the Green Deal to be delivered to homeowners, it's got to be delivered by local builders, local plumbers, guys who know the local housing stock, guys who are trusted by the local homeowners, guys who buy a whole variety of materials from local builders merchants. And we are increasingly the locus of the SME delivery message. I'm very pleased to say that, almost counter to what you might expect, in a recession people stop training. Well, yes they do, but then people realise they have needs. And we found over the last 12 months that a number of merchants locally have thought, well actually I need this, I need this. We got together actually the old regional training group structure that we used to have about 15, 20 years ago. Products are fit for different times in market cycles. So we've had 5 local training groups and we're looking for more of them over the forthcoming 12 months. Product knowledge. And those of you who did MOL modules, we've got the prize winners of the last MOL modules with us today. The trouble with MOL was it was great until the price doubled overnight. We're now back to being able to deliver product knowledge online very, very cost efficiently, because members told us that price is actually the most important consideration. Quality is important, but you've got to be able to get good quality product knowledge at a price that makes sense for your business. So far, really, in the first 6 months or so when BMF Campus has been live, the figures aren't too bad. 362 learners doing 605 courses. That's crudely on a par with our best ever year with MOLs. Very pleased about this. I told you about this last year. The BMF management qualification, the diploma in merchanting, we're at the stage now we've got a short list of 2 universities to work with to turn this into essentially the first year of a foundation degree. By the time the current cohort who are currently going through that, and I know one of them at least is with us today, have completed, we'll be in a position to say to him, well, here you are, here's your higher education learning credits. if you wish, you can go forward and take this on as a foundation degree qualification. I'm delighted with this, ladies and gents. Builders merchanting is a career, and we can demonstrate that at every stage in the career, there is a BMF qualification which is fit for purpose. I'm very pleased that 518 individuals were touched by our apprenticeship training over the course of the last 12 months. We've got about 250 currently on the programme, but over the course of the year, 518 lives were changed. I'm also very pleased that we're not resting on our laurels. I've got a meeting tomorrow to actually plan the implementation. We'll be able to offer you an apprenticeship in tile retailing before the end of the year, which the Tile Association have written. Early in the new year, something like 5 years the timber industry has been examining its navel. We will be able to offer you a variety of timber industry training apprenticeships. And going forward, there'll be one in bathroom showroom retailing as well, which we've been working with the Bathroom Manufacturers Association to bring to market. There's nothing worse, the one thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about, they say, and I think, rightly or wrongly, this was probably the most talked about issue about Easter time this year. How many organisations does it take to organise an industry conference? For 2012 at least, the answer is 2. I'm personally very pleased that both Anthony Hilton, who some of you know was keynote speaker last year, and Paul Morell, the government's chief construction officer, have agreed to come to our conference next year. I'm very pleased personally to be working with Chris and Sam again, and I know Christine feels the same. And while the main hotel is booked, I know Chris has got a little waiting list for the overflow, so if you want to see the man, he'll put your name down. I thought I should just try and finish with a couple of the non-sexy bits, if you like. The bits that we kind of have to do, the bits that nobody really wants to know about, the bits which are actually at the absolute crux of what you have a trade association for in this industry. And if we don't go along to the meetings where people are trying to work out how to reduce gypsum waste to landfill, who is going to stop them come to the sensible conclusion, if you're not a builder's merchant, that the way to reduce gypsum waste to landfill is to allow all your contractors to bring their leftover stuff back to your yard and stick it in a skip. Or better still, make you responsible for managing a skip on their site. We're constantly having to fight these presumptions. Big issue we have with Corgi. It's raising its face again in all kinds of ways now. The way to stop cowboys from installing gas boilers is to force builders merchants to check they've got an up-to-date gas-safe register card every time they buy something at point of sale. Now, if builders merchants owns the market, there might be some argument for that. If you can buy a gas hose in B&Q, I don't think there's much of an argument for it at all. We're constantly having to fight these smug assumptions by people elsewhere in the supply chain that the builder's merchant is the ideal person to act as the policeman or the scapegoat, as the case may be. Another case in point, we thought this had gone away actually because, 5-6 years ago the BMF brokered an all-industry standard for the weight of bulk bags. We spoke to all the suppliers, we spoke to the fillers, we spoke to merchants, and we spoke to trading standards. And it stopped trading standards crawling all over our members' branches and checking the products. So we've had to restate the basics now, and something like 32 members have already opted to take up the new stickers. I think you've got a copy of the sticker in your pack to take away with you. If you want any more details about this, please talk to the BMF team at the back, we'll give you more detail. And lastly, I'm personally rather pleased. I think most of the guys who embarked on Master Merchant this year thought it was going to be building a catapult out of a spaghetti strainer. I don't think most of them thought it was going to be sliding down the side of a mountain or yomping through streams. But after 3 years away because of the recession, the Master Merchant competition was back again this year, and this splendid shield will be presented to the winners a little later. So that's the BMF in actually 8.5 minutes.